everyone, and welcome to the Partner Awesome Podcast. That would be TPAP if we were going to acronym it. My name is Jason Angelo, along with Ryan Albretsen. And today, we're going to start a four-part series, Ryan, on how to use AI for partner programs. And right now, if you're not using AI for a partner program, and you're a partner manager, CRO, or somebody who's interested in partnerships, you're probably a little behind the curve right now. But all that's going to change within these episodes. We're gonna show you how we at Partner Awesome use AI for our clients, and then feel free to put questions in the comments below. With any questions that you have about how to use AI. And it's a very, very exciting time, I would say, in partnership land right now, because artificial intelligence is providing tremendous amounts of value to everything from onboarding and activation to ecosystem development and value creation, even down to like deal reg and partner evaluation. And today, my good friend Ryan here is going to drop some Albretsen insights throughout the episode. So correctly identify the Albretsen insights and put them in the comments below. You, my friends, will win something.
Awesome. Happy to be here, Jason. Actually excited to dive into this topic. Really, AI is everywhere these days. You can't go anywhere without somebody bringing it up, right? So I'm really curious how this really applies to partnerships. So
exactly. Now,
yeah.
Consider this. Consider the kickoff stage of a partnership, right? When we introduce a series of themes, into the client relationship, and especially with the themes, as all this buzz, AI, and how do you use the AI? And I think there's a lot of things that people talk. I didn't have a discussion with a friend of mine last night. Oh, you can just use AI for that. It takes 5 hours. And I'm like, no, it takes 18 months. But if you didn't use AI, it would probably take 5 years. So yeah. I think the great thing about what we're going to do, within the partnership ecosystem, if you will, or the stratosphere of partnerships when it comes to a profession or a practice, is that we're going to give over some very practical AI applications that we use and show people how you can inculcate AI into your practice, into your partner program, or even into your ecosystem, with very little effort at first to deliver a lot of value.
Okay. No, sounds good. So let's really start broad, though. Let me ask, why does AI matter so much for partner programs right now? Because we've had partner software, analytics for years. Really, what's changed? Or is it just suddenly the hot topic here?
Henceforth, why we work well together. Let's start over here, like going into the weeds. Very good, Ryan. Very good. All right. Well done, Albretsen. So listen, great question. In short, AI has gone from like a novelty to a necessity. It used to be like, oh, wow, look, I can create this picture of a cat, and it kind of looks like you. But now, that was a couple of years ago, right? Now AI and partner management was a nice-to-have experiment for a while. Now it's becoming an embedded intelligence layer within every partner lifecycle. I think as you and I have learned over the last couple of years of Partner Awesome, three big shifts happened, within partnerships. First, the tech itself got dramatically better. As we see with GPT, more advanced models like Google Gemini, and then we use Google Gemini deep research for a lot of client work, whether it's bringing the brand to the market, whether it's sourcing partners, identifying ideal partner profiles or whatnot. Gemini's deep research is just a phenomenal tool that we use all the time. And second, these AI tools become user-friendly and accessible. Right? You could just log into Claude or OpenAI or Gemini or Grok right now, and you just kind of like log in and, hey, look, you're using an AI. And then third, the competitive pressure has ramped up. Right now, the consequence of doing nothing is very, very dire, because whoever you're competing against, if you're platform A and vertical B, and then platform C and vertical B, all of a sudden is adopting all these AI practices and generating content and building out programs and building out, different tiers and doing different calculations of commissions and payouts and whatever. They're really ahead of you right now. So at certain points in time, it matters the one-on-one human relationship. But when it comes to money and it comes down to the speed, that's where, that's where we're noticing a lot of companies are falling behind.
Right. So the first time I used ChatGPT was about 2.5 years ago, and this is very new. And what I did was I asked, and when you get we learn more about prompts and things like that now and how to do it. But the first thing I asked is, write a poem about my 3-year-old son. And then it wrote a poem, and I sent it to my wife, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's so great. And I was like, I know, at first we didn't know what we were using AI for. We didn't know How
What Ryan is not telling the audience is that
yeah.
how he got that's how he got his wife to agree to get a Rivian. He left that part out.
No, but like, it's not just this shiny new toy
Right,
anymore, right?
right,
This is
right.
required.
Yes,
Everyone has to be using
yes,
this because your
yes.
competitors are. But
Right.
you mentioned Gemini. Gemini, what's that about?
So Gemini, Google's latest, Gemini, I believe is 2.5 right now.
Mhm.
Think of it as the answer to like GPT-4, right? And the advanced
Okay.
AI can handle text, it can handle images, really, really deep research. It's a powerful like multimodal tool that can process different types of inputs, right? And it's designed to be integrated into Google products, but you can use it independent of Google products like we do. The
Mhm.
reason why that matters is that when Google bakes in the AI, like we talked about, a few weeks ago about even how like Oracle NetSuite is like baking in AI, to the suite now. Market managers, for example, can use Google Cloud's, partner marketing studio now has Gemini under the hood. So essentially, if you're not using it, you're behind the eight ball right now because you don't, it's although the technology is such an infancy, it's becoming a built-in assistant for partner activities, which is really an interesting topic, right? So
Mhm.
the mainstream nature of it is now inculcated into your daily life as a partner manager. So it's been a very big shift.
Okay, got it. So AI is here. It's really getting embedded into our workflows. We can't ignore it, right? But why should a CRO or chief care personally be interested in something like this?
Aha! That efficiently and effectively through your partner ecosystem, and that's what every CRO wants to hear, right? Like more, 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 right? More revenue. So it helps answer questions like which partners should we invest in? And I remember when I was at NetSuite, that was always a thing. Like you'd have a partner come to you. There was a specific partner down in New Zealand that we met in Sydney, years ago. Oh yeah, mate, I have. Okay, good. I mean, yeah, an accent,
That's
but
a great accent. I love it.
thank
That's
you,
a great
thank you, thank you. And
impersonation.
I'm
Yeah, yeah.
sure that this person knows who they are. I'm sure that they really appreciate me impersonating Kiwi. He's like, yeah, I have Kyle. Oh my gosh, Kyle, if you're watching, how you doing? And he basically said, look, I have all these Magento clients. We want to potentially switch over to SuiteCommerce Advanced. Magento is giving me X. NetSuite's going to give me Y. And you're sitting there like, what? Of the 500-600 sites they have, if we convert, 10 to 20% of them, that moves the needle. Back then that moved the needle. So now you're sitting there, you're like, okay, do we focus on that? All right. If you have an AI in a situation like that, and let's say that you're a relatively young partner manager, you just got your big break, you're at a or enterprise company, what do you do? Right. So you go into the AI and say, hey, what partner should I focus on? Here's the scenario, boom, boom, boom. And then it's going to give you a bunch of pros and cons. So now you say to yourself, okay, so as a partner manager, you should have a measurable level of business acumen that you should be able to evaluate a deal or evaluate, a partner onboarding, pretty quickly. And
Mhm.
so you see, so on one hand, with that example, for a young person who maybe hasn't been through the trenches like we have over the years, yeah, you know what? They need it because that's going to guide them through and help them become more intelligent. But then when it comes to, more advanced partner managers or even executives that need to go through mountains of data. So let's say you have data coming in from your ERP, you have data coming in from this source and that source, and you need to make heads or tails of it. If you take those pieces of data, for example, and upload those into Google Gemini, you hit the deep research button, upload the files to say, Gemini, listen, I need to know what to focus on now. Here are my parameters of what I need to focus on. Look at these files. Please get me to this result with data that supports it because I have to like report back into my boss or whatever. That's where Gemini and that's where GPT-4 with GPT's research functionality really deliver a ton of value. So I remember, my team and I would stay up sometimes when we were traveling, 3, 4, 5 hour sessions just to look at everything inside of a NetSuite or inside of a system. So not only do you have to go through the different scenarios, but you also have to wait for that system to generate the report. It's like
Mhm.
so that's a long-winded answer, but an answer.
Well, I don't know, Jason. It sounds too good to be true. So I'm gonna challenge you. Can you give me some examples on how AI has been helping?
Jeez. Again, you passed up the Albretsen insight, but we're not gonna focus on that. There's no magic box that replaces the channel chief, right? If you look at the more well-known channel chiefs, at least the ones that I know, like the Larry Beckers and the Craig, the guy's name, he's gonna kill me, but he's like, no, I mean, if you look at the bigger channel chiefs in the world right now, they're not going to be replaced, right? Because there is a measured level of business acumen and business insights and a feel for the ecosystem that's been built. Craig West, that's his name. If you look at a Craig West, right, Craig's been at this now for over 20 years in NetSuite, and as a channel chief, he has so many different scenarios and so much experience and so many different things that he's gone through. Unless he gives that over to an AI, there's no way an AI is going to be in his head. Channel chiefs, they're always going to have a gig. There's always going to be a gig for a strong channel leader. But some concrete examples, right? Predictive partner scoring, I think, is one. Onboarding automation, for activation and authorization, and then content creation and co-marketing. I think you and I spend a lot of time in Partner Awesome. I think in all three. But I think when it comes to content creation and content generation for partner program, go lives and go to markets, that's where the AI really shines, because we're able to get feedback to the executives, to the marketing people, to the key stakeholders so quickly, and we're able to adjust the language and make adjustments to the content so quickly to really match the market. That's a real net impact. That's a real impact.
So you say predictive partner scoring.
Yeah.
Sounds fancy. It kind of reminds me of that movie. Was it Brad Pitt, Moneyball?
Moneyball.
Right, where he comes in. I think it was the A's. Great movie, by the way.
He got rid of Jeremy Giambi like that. Like he was just gone. Like he was
Right.
I mean, thank goodness when I was in New York, Jason was phenomenal for his basement, but Jeremy apparently was he wasn't that good for the locker room. So actually, it's a great analogy. Right? So
Yeah.
it's like Moneyball for partner managers. So predictive partner scoring means that using AI and machine learning to analyze tons of historical and real-time data points about your partners to predict future potential, not just past performance. Now, instead of relying on last year's sales and a gut feeling, because a lot of what we did on my days of NetSuite was, okay, well, we believe that this is going to happen, that's going to happen based on this and based upon that. I mean, thank goodness we were really, really right a lot of the time. Looking back on it, risk. But now, when you think about deal registration trends, you think about training, you think about campaign, you think about engagement, you think about deployment scoring. How do they treat their customers? Do the customers like them? You have all these different data points of what represents risk, which was never really in the market before. So that in itself is tremendous.
So it's really pointing out, like, hey, this partner could be a superstar, even if the revenue was small last year, or this one is at risk of slipping.
Right. So
yeah.
For example, there's a partner in NetSuite ecosystem that grew by 1,008% year over year. However, their project management did not grow 1,000%. Their developer talent did not grow 1,000%. Their executive team and their brain power did not grow 1,000%. So when you see something like that, that's an automatic red flag, right? So if you're a young partner manager, maybe mid-career, and you see something like that, oh yeah, they grew 1,000%. They're going to grow. It's going to be 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, and then you turn it around like, wow, look at all the lawsuits that are flying because they can't handle the work, right? And that becomes a real scenario, right? And change is hard. It's hard, but having an AI like the deep research in Google or the OpenAI research, it's really giving that partner manager the ability to really have a second set of data-driven, non-biased eyes on what they do. Because in partner management, it's very, very easy to have a bias to certain partners in certain areas and do certain things. With the AI, the partner manager now, I think, has a bigger view of the world and a bigger view of their ecosystem. And their decision making is going to go through the roof. It's going to be incredible.
But knowing some old school salespeople, they might get a little grumpy if an algorithm is telling them which partners to focus on, though, right?
Well, yes and no. The old school way of doing things, I think the way that you and I grew up in corporate America was basically the old boys club, right? Like we like these partners in these things because of this relationship or that relationship, and then it becomes a very biased and very tough ecosystem to thrive and grow in. And the risk there is that you can have very, very talented partners, spin up practices and really give their all to the technology, to the technology platform, to the platform that you're working with, only to be passed up for a shop that's going to execute on a lesser level. But because they're in with the general manager or the CEO's wife's brother's friend knows him or her, they end up getting tossed a lot of different deals. So it's an interesting one.
Cool. I thought we'd have some more time today, but as we talked about, this is a 4-part version. Next time, I think we should really dig into onboarding automation.
Yeah, I think onboarding. I think that'd be very smart, Ryan. I think it'd be very smart. All right. So if anybody has any questions or comments, please put it in the comments below, or visit us at partnerawesome.com, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions, or even set up a couple of complimentary sessions to help you. So again, on behalf of my name is Jason Asher, and he's Ryan Albretsen, and we'll see you next time on the Partner Awesome podcast.
Thanks, everyone.